Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 85 of the 40k Badcast. My name is Dan Boyd, and I am joined, as always, by just the coolest threads out there that you can still probably buy at Target. That's right, it's Quicksilver McBillabong.
I was hoping you were going to go for Jenko McJacket or something like that, but that'll do too. Did Jenko ever make jackets?
Are you talking about Jinko?
Jinko?
Are you saying Jenko?
Maybe it's a regional thing. There's no vowels in it. How are you supposed to pronounce JNCO?
Jinko.
Jinko. Okay. Did Jinko make jinkets?
Jinkets. I don't know.
And did they have similarly sized elephant sleeves for the arms?
Did they have any leftover denim after producing their jeans?
I'm pretty sure there was like a run on denim nationwide after they produced jeans for like 3 years in the early 2000s. But I feel like they would also have, it wouldn't just be a Jinko jinkette, it would be a Jinko cargo jinkette. So you'd have like really big honking cargo pockets all up the arms, and you'd look kind of like a really schlubby Final Fantasy character.
Man, you're using a lot of words that I'm having trouble parsing.
Well, for what it's worth, a lot of them are not real words.
All right. Jinkos. For those... Okay, you know what? I'm not going to explain Jinkos. If you don't know what Jinkos are, dear listeners, feel free to write in, and Campbell and I will send you great pictures.
Most of them of Kevin Smith, probably.
Did you ever have a pair of Jinkos?
Of course I did.
You're way too young for Jinkos.
I had one pair of Jinko jeans. They said Jinko on the butt.
Were they
Just
like legit huge legs and stuff? Like, you know,
no, I wasn't like
voluminous?
swimming in them. It wasn't like having two floor-length denim skirts tied around your legs.
Yeah,
no, it was just a pair of kind of baggy pants.
I got great news for you, bud.
What?
I had Jinkos.
Did you have like really hardcore ones?
No,
like
I didn't have really hardcore ones, but you know, it was just having Jinkos was like the big deal. And of course, my parents would not allow me to have the coolest late 90s threads.
That's it. What's the opposite of a status symbol? Because that's kind of what Jinko jeans are to me.
Listen, bud, when I was in middle school in like 1998 and 1999, like that was the status symbol. It was stuff like Quicksilver and Billabong t-shirts with Jinko jeans.
It was Jinko jeans and Folkleys at my school in like 2002. Yeah,
I remember Oakley's. Man, what a time, huh?
What a stupid decade that I'm so happy to see behind me.
All right, gang. It's the 40k Badcast. We're back again with another one of our wonderfully on-topic episodes where we talk about our favorite hobby. And Campbell, let's get into it, man. Let's turn on the old Auspex. Man, I should really put a fucking Auspex sound on this soundboard here, huh?
Little alien sound effect tracker from Aliens. Yeah, that'd be pretty deep.
Yeah.
Pretty dope.
Anyways, let's go see what's on our hobby radar. I'm going to start with hobby progress, as we always do. I have not had a lot of opportunity to paint stuff lately in the last 2 weeks. I'm still working on the blade guard I had started last show. Unfortunately, you know, life, it's bad and it's terrible. So, you know, it just stops me from painting a lot of the times. Though the last couple of days I've managed to put a few hours in, which has been good for my brain and good for my models. So getting back into it here. I've done a lot of writing for Goonhammer lately.
Yes, you have.
Goonhammer.com, of course, is a website that both Campbell and I contribute to. And I have been writing a lot about the new edition of Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
Which I guess we're not supposed to talk about.
Okay.
Well, I guess former Badcast fan doesn't want... What was former Badcast fan's second fake email that they registered to give us shit?
Oh, I think the second one started to be like it was like Shillbell Mick Games Workshop or something like that. It started to get into like name game stuff.
Yeah.
It was a weird energy from someone who's like more bitter than an orange peel, I'll be honest.
Yeah. So I just want to make the point again that I found it. Here we go. It's from C-Word McLaughingstock.
There it is.
At gmail.com, which you pointed out is the same IP as former Badcast fan.
Yes, it is. It is the same guy.
And This is their comment was, "Put me in, coach. I'm ready to shill." I just want to point out to former Badcast fan and to the world again, we're not shills. Shills get paid. We are marks. We do this for free.
We are pay pigs. All right.
So you can call us names, friendo. It's fine, but just call us the correct names, please. All right. So yeah, not a whole lot of hobby progress for me, unfortunately. I am digging these Blade Guard. They are coming together more and more, and I am not finding it all that difficult to paint with the shields on, to be honest, even though a lot of people, including my own dear brother, were giving me shit about, not painting in sub-assemblies. It's just like the backs of the shield are kind of hard because they don't really obscure a lot of detail otherwise.
No, they don't. They're just at like kind of a weird angle where you can see them but can't quite get a paintbrush in there.
Right, and I don't really give a shit about the backs of the shields too much. So, and it's like for them, it's just like, black with a little bit of metallic on the raised parts. Like it's not hard.
Yeah, I mean, I did mine in sub-assemblies, and that's basically all I did on mine was just black with like a line highlight, because I could do that because they weren't, attached to the dudes. But if you're going to be spending a couple weeks on a squad of something, it may as well be a squad as overladen, overlay might be the wrong word, but loaded with detail as the Blade Guard veterans.
They are great, man. I'm enjoying them.
Yeah, they're good models.
Can't wait to get them painted up and ready to play with. Now, I know that you have been quite busy with hobby lately, and I just feel so inadequate.
Well, I feel perfectly adequate and no better, so I'll take it.
This is when you explain what you've done with your last 2 weeks hobby-wise.
I assumed that was the lead-in.
Have you listened to the show before?
No, what show is this?
What episode is this? Is this the 85th time we've done this song and dance?
I'd say it's probably the 83rd. There was a little bit of a learning space in the first couple episost, but yeah, okay, sure, fine. Hobby progress, the thing I ostensibly do a lot of.
Who feels inadequate now, motherfucker?
Whomst amongst us feels adequate? Not I, not this man. So I started, I basically just worked on the Space Marine stuff I got for my birthday last month. So I built and painted the Firestrike servo turret.
Yes.
Where I think a lot of the bad feelings about that model are because the GW paint job on it is perfectly adequate and super neat, but it's not exactly inspiring. It's basically just like, here's some blue,
right?
Here's some black.
And
the end.
With your paint job that you did on it, I don't know if I'd call it perfectly adequate. I would say it goes above and beyond, far above and beyond what Games Workshop has produced. I'm looking at it now on your Tumblr.
Oh, why? Thank you. Yeah, the I have
which
had
is cam2d.tumblr.com.
Yeah, I have had multiple people actually reach out to me, like, "Oh wait, this is actually a cool model. I'm gonna get one now." So, GW, I would like some kickbacks, please. As for the paint job on it, I had a ton of fun just because you have the big, like, the little legs and all that stuff. They're fine, whatever. The Tech Marine, he's pretty cool. He's got like a bionic arm that plugs into the gun, kind of like R2-D2's little like key from Star Wars, where it kind of turns locks and all that stuff. But you have this big gun shield, and they just left it blue. So me being me decided to go all out on it, which means the other day when I was painting it, I just hear Anne look over and she just lets out a little melodic, like, "I see caution stripes."
There you go.
Because I hazard striped up the fuck out of the side of this thing.
You certainly did.
Yeah, which was super fun. I feel like if I did another one, I might go for the like all out chevron, like meeting in the middle. So it looks kind of like the front of like, I guess, a train. Or I would go with like the big heavy support symbol on it. But I thought it was a lot of fun to paint. And I think, again, a lot of it comes down to just having the paint job just being different. And I know the model rubs some people the wrong way too, just because it is kind of this like static sort of turret sort of thing, but it's not really that different from the old Tarantula turrets or the Thud gun or the Thunderfire cannon going back to previous editions in a lot of ways. After I finished that, I built and painted the Invader ATV, where I tied it in with my Outrider biker squad by sharing the squad number in kind of a nod to the old mixed bike attack bike units. But again, with this one, I went all out. I did a bunch of like cool patterns and effects and all that stuff. Used a lot of like checker decals and flames freehanded on the gun shield and all that stuff. But again, this one is another model that rubs some people the wrong way. And I don't really get why, because again, like the paint job on the GW one is like, it's blue. All right, it looks fine. But it's not. Like some people say that the idea of this ATV thing is a bridge too far in ridiculousness as far as Space Marines go. And I'm just like, is it really any less silly than the attack bike with its dumb sidecar?
Yeah, I think that the people who don't like this just don't like things in general and don't want people to be happy. So they can go outside where they will probably be able to quickly and efficiently find some rocks. And then I would suggest that they pile those rocks into a small pile and commence to kicking them.
I think that's a pretty good thing. I might have gone a little, I don't think I would have gone quite as far. I would have just reminded them that there is plenty of sand out there that could use some pounding, but that's another good option. But yeah.
Campbell, I have noticed something on your Invader ATV.
Yeah. I think I know what it's going to be.
The man in the back, he's got some handles.
Yes, he does.
That are, I believe, to direct and fire the mounted gun. Campbell?
Yes.
I don't think he's...
No, he's Lookman no handsing that gun. He is hover handing around that gun. Okay, so I learned a few things while building this model.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to give you shit. It's a really beautifully painted model. It looks excellent, but I can't. I've noticed that.
Oh, do you think it doesn't bother the fuck out of me? Okay, so as far as this goes, the model, the gunner's arms have like they have these little handles that have pegs in them that peg into the sides of the gun.
Yes.
Pretty normal.
Yes.
The problem is, if you want to be able to swap out the gun, you need to be able to cut the pegs off or find a way to remove them. I cut the pegs off, but I shaved a little too much of them off on either end, so they don't quite grab around the gun. And I'm like, well, shit, if once this gunner is glued in, I'm not gonna be able to like grab the gun from behind to pull it out very easily without maybe like knock him out.
Yeah.
So I decided to magnetize the gun after the fact, which was kind of not great. And the problem is that means it doesn't quite sit exactly where it needs to be. It's going to look fine from most angles and from the tabletop, but there are certain angles where it does not look great, and that bothers me just a little bit. I don't really know what exactly I would do differently. I think I would just not cut as much of the handle off, or maybe I would even go so far as to magnetize the fucking gun arm guys. I don't know. You know, ideally, I'd have a second set of gun handles or whatever, and I could just swap the whole thing out, but what am I going to do at this point? It's already painted.
I mean, it looks great, and this is the kind of thing that I'm only noticing because you included a close-up picture of the gunner, and I didn't notice it immediately. I noticed it during our conversation of me looking at these pictures that you've posted on your Twitter, which of course is @BrotherSRM. So I'm sorry for pointing this out. I feel bad, but I got to tell you, bud, it's pretty fucking funny.
I mean, you're pointing something out. It's not like I'm not shocked by this revelation.
I like how you also included like just little baby splashes of hazard stripes on this guy, but you also you did get some yellow and red flames in there, so very on brand for you. That's great, man. That's some solid hobby progress from one half of the 40k Badcast.
Well, with those two units, I'm now up to 5,700 points of painted Primaris Ultramarines, so I am pretty excited to push that over to 6,000 in the coming months.
See, you might have more than I do.
That's fair.
No,
you might have more. You have more by weight, I think,
I have
because of the fucking Astraeus.
Yeah, that's. Ugh. Well, okay. I want to get into a little bit of a little callback to last episode where I did a cut-in bit, which we've never done before, because I was talking about the completely awful, at least what it looks like, hobby experience that the Aeronautica Imperialis Orc Mega Bomber would be. Oh my God, there's a cat down here.
I heard.
And she wants attention.
She does.
Sorry, cat. This is Campbell's attention time. You'll have to wait until after. Okay, so the Orc Mega Bomber Those of you that listened to the last episode will remember the cut-in bit that I could barely get through because I was laughing so hard. But our good friend Greg, the Goonhammer Webmaster, which is just the most dubious title one could possibly have, for Secret Santa, he sent me one, which is... as Pig would say right there, just the worst thing. I mean, it's great that I have it, and I'm gonna put all 65 or 64 pieces of it together, and enjoy, in big time air quotes there, enjoy that experience, and I'll try to paint it up quick. But wow, man, that was one of the meanest things anyone's ever done to me. And he hadn't even heard the show yet because it had happened, I want to say, the day after we recorded.
Yeah.
So,
I remember that was one of the reasons you were cracking up so hard is because we had just talked about how sending that to someone is essentially doing them violence.
Right. And he did that to me. So now I have that to look forward to. I don't know when it's going to cut into my Marine time here because I've got Blade Guard, another Blade Guard unit, and then an Impulsor that I want to work on because I'm trying to build to a specific list here. So it might be after the Impulsor. So probably a couple months away from working on it. But Greg, come on, man. What did I ever do? I guess I did table him the last time we played, huh?
I mean, here's the thing. If Greg sent everybody who tabled him an Orca Mega Bomber, he'd be bankrupt by the end of the month.
We should have him on the show just so he can defend himself.
I would love to.
All right. Well, that was a fun little bit. I've been writing a lot about Blood Bowl and the new edition of Blood Bowl, which we can touch on in a couple minutes here. But man, I got this Goblin team over here, and I really want to paint this Goblin team.
Ooh, okay.
This cat.
Are you
listening?
Hear that
can you hear this cat?
Yes, I can.
This is what happens, man. They sleep all day because I'm working. My wife is working, so they're just sleeping, right? But then like 5-6 o'clock comes, and it's like 5:30 right now. They're just like, oh fuck, I didn't get to do all the things I wanted to do today, such as yell at the humans and beg for food and knock shit off desks.
That's most of what I do.
Well, anyways, let's get to games played. Campbell, have you played any games?
I have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Again, not playing 40k, but still playing a bunch of games. I got a game of Age of Sigmar in with Dylan, my Daves of Darkness versus his dwarfs. And while the last time we played, I felt like I really understood the Daves of Darkness army, this is the first time I felt like I had a plan going in and that I played the whole game, or at least the first half of the whole game, super intentionally.
Oh, wow.
I got to bring those Iron Golems who I finished last time to take the place of a bunch of the smattering of random characters I had been taking that didn't do anything. So I actually have useful units this time around. And for kind of a notion of how this game goes, first roll of the game, he hits and wounds twice with his cannon on my knights.
Uh-oh.
Each cannon does D6 wounds. It just puts holes in units.
I got to imagine, though, like, a cannon's got to be like a las cannon, right? It's good at taking out one thing, not good at taking out a swarm of things.
Well, the thing in Age of Sigmar is wounds spill over.
Oh,
so
do they?
If you have a damage 3 weapon and a unit, and you're hitting a unit that has 1 wound per model, that kills 3 models.
Shit.
Yeah. So if this cannon potentially, if he rolls max on the damage, could just paste this unit of knights.
Fuck.
And I roll box cards for the save.
Wow.
Pair of 6s, which is the only die roll that would have saved them. No rerolls needed, nothing. And that was kind of a sign of things to come. So the first 2 turns, I just push up.
I really like the idea. I'm sorry to interrupt. I really like the idea of like a knight on a horse, and he sees a cannonball flying at him, and he like lowers his shield, and the cannonball just like bounces off like a tennis ball would. And then it's like, I knew that would work.
Yeah, it's like you got one shot at this.
It's all about confidence.
Yeah, it is all about confidence. Showing the cannonball who's boss. Noted easily intimidatable cannonballs, whatever. Anywho, the first 2 turns, I push up the board. I form this big wall in the middle of the table of my like iron golems and my regular chaos warriors, who all have rerollable 4-up saves, which means they're not going fucking anywhere. My chariot flanks around to hit his artillery. I teleport my knights behind his lines to split his army in half, which meant I was able to hold.
You got teleporting knights now?
Yeah, I got a spell that lets me just kind of slingshot a unit across the board, just lets you deep strike them, essentially.
Damn. Knights are already fast, man. Did you really need to start teleporting them?
Well, now they were behind him, so they could charge his artillery.
That's where you want to be, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then my chariot actually like rolls over one of the guns. My knights are going to get to charge into the other one.
What's your chariot made out of?
Like the physical material that the model is made of, or what it's made of in like universe?
In universe.
It is in universe. It is made of horse wood and metal.
So it's not made of fire. It's not a chariot of fire.
No, it's not. Although if I did play the entirety of Chariots of Fire every single time I moved that thing, I'd get a good 10 minutes out of that per game before it dies. Oh, speaking of, there is a 3-pack of Chariots for Age of Sigmar that's available now, and it is a crime in a box. I don't want that done to anyone.
Sorry, that's the Chariots of Fire song.
I'm well aware that is Chariots of Fire by Vangelis, I think.
I have no idea.
I thought it was by Vangelis.
It's probably Stan Bush.
No, because there's no singing about how cool things are.
You got teleporting knights. You got chariots flying around. Mm-hmm. What other kind of bullshit are you subjecting our poor friend Dylan to?
Well, after sticking most of his units in combat with my dudes with rerolling saves, who if they don't have native rerolling saves, my wizards can just give free rerolling saves to units every turn. It's not even a spell, it's just an innate ability. He's whiffing his forge fire rolls, which give all his dudes -1 rend, which is like very useful, and it goes off on a 2-up, and he's rolling snake eyes for it every single time.
Nice.
And he's just bouncing off my shield wall. Once he finally whittles down enough of my iron golems, I use my command ability to summon a unit of iron golems behind his lines and land on his home objective.
Whoops.
And by the time he finally is able to get his forge fire rolls off and sweep some of my dudes, I have such a huge points lead and that it's pretty much insurmountable. At that point, it's also like pitch black outside because it's November, and we called it with a pretty big advantage to the Daves to Darkness.
The game started at 10 a.m., and by the time it finishes, it's pitch black, and it wasn't even a long game.
Yeah, and it's noon. No, I showed up around like 1 and we played till like 4 or something like that, and it was just that.
Don't you just love November?
Love November, love New England, love all of these things.
November and December. Those are the 2 months where it's just like, hey, fuck you, guy. But not just for you, for everyone.
Yeah, Smarch is pretty lousy too, but
yeah, but
we're
at least
not there yet.
Like you hit November. What is it? I'm sorry, December 21st or 22nd. Whenever the winter solstice. There we go. Whenever the winter solstice is, that's the shortest day of the year, right?
Yeah.
So every day after that gets longer.
This is true.
So all you got to do is hit that. You get to that day, and then you're like, boom. Things are looking up. It might take them a few months to really look up, but you can tell yourself things are looking up.
Seasonal affective disorder, you're out of here.
Seasonal affective disorder, in 3 months, you're out of here.
But you're my roommate for the next 3 months. All right, I had
God,
one
that was
more
a loud
game.
yell. I'm sorry, Danielle. I'm sorry.
I did get in one more game. I got in a game of Battlebasters with my dad because it was my dad's birthday earlier this month.
Mattlebasters.
It was daddlebasters. No, that's something different. That's very different. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, played with my dad on Tabletop Simulator on his birthday, and I regret to inform you that this year he is the one whomst did the dumpstering.
Oh, good.
It was a scenario where I was trying to cross a river while he defended all the bridges, which meant his archers shot me over the water while my dudes got stuck in a traffic jam. And by the time I drew the card for the ogre, my ogre was basically dead. And I think it might be the first time he's won Battle Masters against me since I've legally been an adult.
Nice.
But I was happy to give him the win. It was his birthday, so all the better. And I've been thinking a lot about Battle Masters lately, and I talk about it in our latest Patreon bonus episode, which will go up later this month, I'm sure.
It's the November one.
So
We've already recorded it.
Yep.
I've got 12 days to post it. Will I post it on time? Will I post it on the 29th? Thinking to myself, oh, fuck, I forgot about this. Only time will tell, Campbell.
I do like talking about things that happened in my past in your future. It's really fun. So those are my games. You get any on?
No, I have been unable to play any 40K or really any other games. Just hasn't happened for me. I think I'm getting a game this weekend, though, against old Scott Horace Heresy.
Nice.
So that could be fun.
Hey,
or it could be bad. I don't know. We actually did a big terrain order with this guy Adam, who does he runs his own like terrain painting shop, and it came today.
Oh, nice.
To Scott's house. So on Saturday, I'm going to his house to pick up my half, and we're going to get a game in.
Nice. Is all pre-painted terrain though?
I mean, well, yeah, pre-paint. Well, it's painted. I don't know about pre-painted.
I mean, it's painted before it got to you. So
it's Games Workshop terrain that we built.
Oh, okay.
And sent out to get painted.
Nice.
Because I ain't got time to paint fucking terrain, bro.
That's fair.
And if this stuff looks as good in person as it does in the pictures, then I'm going to probably build up all this Necromunda terrain I have and send it out and be like, hey, paint this.
Righteous.
Because I don't have fucking time to paint terrain or inclination, to be honest.
Yeah, there's people who are like terrain people who really can go all out. Like Dylan at 40k Hamslam on Instagram, like he is a terrain guy because he used to be a model railroad guy. And what do you know? The two are kind of similar. But for me, it's like terrain. How fast can I dry brush this?
Yeah.
I like the idea of having really nice terrain, and I like have the inspiration to make it, and then I get to it. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do this. I want to paint infantry.
Putting terrain together is fun, but painting that shit is for the birds. Okay, let's talk about new stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll start with a little bit of Blood Bowl chat. Sorry, former Badcast fan, but we're doing it. The new edition of Blood Bowl is hit the pre-order buttons this past weekend. I pre-ordered I didn't get the whole box set, which is, kind of surprising for me. Honestly, I was thinking about it, and I was like, fuck, man. I like the models in there, but I already have 2 unpainted Blood Bowl teams. And so I said, no. I will not add to my already massive backlog. I will only buy rules. And
Sensible.
I did. I bought the book, I bought the cards, and that was about it. So the Blood Bowl box came with a Black Orc team, which is the one team I would be interested in, and the Imperial Noble team, which if I had bought the box, I probably would have sent to you and told you to go hog wild with.
Hell yeah.
Because I feel like you would get a lot of mileage out of that team. Maybe someday when they put it out on its own, maybe we'll secure you a copy so you can go crazy with those feathers.
Yeah.
They're great teams, great models. Both of the teams look very competitive too, like good.
Okay.
And at least the Imperial Noble team will be pretty easy to use too. The Black Orc team has a bunch of goblins in it, and goblins are very finicky in Blood Bowl because they die to a stiff breeze, and they don't do anything.
They occupy spaces on the board.
Yeah. But their other players on the Black Orc team are very good. So you're doing okay with that team. Right. But the Imperial Noble team is some good players with some excellent skill choices, and it should be a lot of fun for those people playing it. They also released the Necromantic Horror team, which I think is the more fun version of the 2 undead teams that are available in Blood Bowl. It's got flesh golems, aka Frankenstein's
monsters, please.
It's got
Flesh Golem is the doctor's name.
It's got werewolves, it's got ghouls, it's got zombies, even one with a pumpkin on its head, and it's got bedsheet ghosts or wraiths, which are always the best kind of ghost. And I'm actually a huge fan of this team. They're one of the stronger teams too, like very forgiving for new players. So,
Nice.
if you're into that for Blood Bowl, I suggest Necromantic Horror is a great intro team. Now,
It's a real miss that they didn't come out in time for Halloween this year. But
Yeah.
there's been a few things going on that might have changed some plans and timelines.
oh, I'm 100% sure that Games Workshop did shut down their factories for a while.
Yeah.
So like they're the logistics people over there are probably still in nightmare mode and probably will be for another year.
Probably.
So they also released Zolcath the Zote on Forge World, which is he's got I believe he's got 4 legs, like he's some sort of like lizard centaur.
Yeah, it's a classic old Zote model, but in modern aesthetics.
And they still managed. Forge World is amazing, man. They still managed to pose this motherfucker on 1 leg.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it, but they were like 4 legs, huh? Not today, Zolcath the Zote. You'll be on 1 leg. Zolcath the Zote is a cool model. I actually did purchase this from Forge World because it can be used in conjunction with elf teams. So I was like, hey, I have one of those.
Nice.
So got that guy coming down the pike, which is fun. All right, I want to talk about New Blood Bowl for just a minute.
No, please go for it. That this is your thing.
So I do love Blood Bowl. It is my favorite Games Workshop game. And the new edition is out, and my official rating of it is it's okay. They changed a lot about the game. We're talking dozens of minor changes to the way the game is played that in the end make it like a pretty different game than it was just a few weeks ago. And one of the big changes is the passing ability stat. They took away passing having to do with the agility stat, and they added a new stat in the game. And we were talking about this on our Zoom call over the weekend, and they have just royally boned a bunch of teams with this stat. Made a lot of the finesse and high agility teams substantially worse by adding this stat, and then taking it and like just blanket applying it to all the players who aren't passers, aren't throwers in the game, and giving them bad stats in that. Oof. Whereas you had a bunch of elves, right? Mm-hmm. High agility, good at playing the ball, excellent throwers, even not just the thrower on the team. Mm-hmm. Not anymore. So I don't mind the passing stat. It's not a bad thing. It's a neutral thing. But the way they implemented it, they did a bad job, and they've taken away a lot of the strengths of the finesse teams from the game. So, okay, well, Dan, everybody hates elves. Like, elf ball sucks. Like, why? What? The issue is that it flattens the difficulty of the game, right? It flattens what is going to be good. So the teams that were good before this edition of Blood Bowl, your orcs, your dwarves, your mainly just orcs and dwarves, are generally considered the 2 best teams. There's going to be just single digits of people that were really mad at me for saying those words. They are even better in this edition because the other teams got worse.
Gotcha.
And it takes what was a very robust and diverse set of factions that can compete at high levels, and it flattens that. So it's like if they were like if 40k was just like, all right, shooting phase is bad now.
Yeah.
Like you have to shooting phase does half damage always. Like it would take the armies that are currently doing well, that have both shooting and combat and can maneuver in every phase of the game, and they would be even better because the armies that rely on a bunch of shooting would be a lot worse. Okay. So that sucks. Like,
yeah, that's frustrating.
A lot of the other things about the game are good, but like that one big thing sucks. Now, caveat, I did paint an elf team early this year with the intention to bring it to Adepticon to play in the Stupor Bowl at Adepticon. And that I obviously didn't get to do that because Adepticon got canceled. So, am I a little bitter because my elf team is worse? Yes, I am. But I'm also sad for all the other players who have elf teams or finesse teams or what have you, because it is going to make the game less diverse when it comes to what are the good teams. And that's no good.
Yeah, no, that's understandable, because anything that makes it a more diverse game with more viable options is going to make it a healthier, stronger, better game for everyone. And that's very frustrating, because like initially when I heard about the passing stats, again, this is from purely an outsider. When I heard about them adding a passing stat, that's what I thought it would actually be better for, is kind of evening things out and letting teams that are like worse in some ways maybe make up for it in other ways, as opposed to what you're saying, which is the rich get richer and everyone else gets poorer.
Well, yes. So adding a passing stat is adding more granularity to the game, right?
Yeah.
So you could take that and use it to fine tune some teams that that could benefit from it. But instead what they did is they took it and they implemented it in a very flat way, where like it just doesn't make an impact on the game like it could.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, it's bad game design. And I do think they did a bad job with it. So, and it's never going to change. Like, this won't change until a new edition comes out, because they don't do Blood Bowl facts.
Right.
They don't do Blood Bowl updates. And they're certainly not going to update all the passing stats for shit. So, like, this, as much as I love my Baja Blasters, I mean, if I want to win games, I'm not going to be using the Baja Blasters.
I mean, I know a frequent refrain, at least of mine, is elf bullshit lives, but it sounds to me like elf bullshit dies.
Elf bullshit is currently dying in Blood Bowl, and some people will be happy about that. And I gotta imagine, like, they had these interviews with these playtesters on Warhammer Community, for Blood Bowl, and like are they all dwarf players? Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what's going on in the Blood Bowl world. If you've got questions or comments about Blood Bowl and you want to give me a shout, just go ahead and do so. Contact at 40kbadcast.com. I love talking Blood Bowl. Sorry, former Badcast fan. That's the end of our Blood Bowl content for this show. Let's move on to more 40k news. Both Space Marines and Necrons got facts. Campbell, do you remember this?
Wow, that was like a year ago. I remember reading that there were I read the Black Templar Index rules, and I thought that looked pretty good. Hey. But from what I gather, they're basically just reprinted from Psychic Awakening. But that's fine. It means I feel all the smarter for not buying those books.
Yeah, very, very good job. You're prescient over here. No, Marines and Necrons got facts. They had almost no content.
Yeah.
They fixed a couple of errors, and that was it. And are there glaring questions in both books about how things are done? Yes, absolutely. Many, in fact. And Games Workshop addressed none of them.
Neat.
What is happening?
Neat.
Aren't Games Workshop supposed to be good at stuff now? Aren't they supposed to be like quick and responsive when it comes to rules and doing this stuff right? Like, or maybe not right, but better? That was the prevailing sentiment, I feel, but this is a giant step backwards, and just like they're punting on these facts, being like, whatever, we're not answering any big questions. We're just saying, we put a period wrong in this sentence, or remove that dash mark.
I'll be completely honest. Like, I'm not really playing much 40k these days, so I haven't really got, like, I've read the Codex, obviously the Space Marine Codex. We talked about it last episode, but I didn't notice anything that really made me just go, boo. But I feel like if I was playing more games, I would have more of those experiences. So I didn't really notice anything glaring in the FAQ. I looked at it and I saw, like, yeah, here's a comma that was supposed to be a period or whatever, like very minor things. I don't really have enough context.
The Space Marine Codex did not have a fact section, or the errata or fact and errata document. It didn't have any frequently asked questions answered. Not one.
Cool.
I know that there are many questions about the Space Marine Codex because I happen to be a human on the internet in Warhammer, groups and communities out there. I know that people have questions, but they're not getting answered. So Not great.
Right.
Not a great look.
All right.
Okay, and then finally in Necromunda news, the Escher Fear Cats finally get models.
Yeah, there were models shown a few years ago for these at like an open day or something of the sort that looked a lot like the Phalanxes that kind of came out more recently.
Yep.
And looked kind of shitty. I think these look great.
Oh, these look dope as fuck. Yeah,
They're
these
so
are
gnarly and bestial and mean. Like, these look nasty. These look good.
They are pretty. They're almost gross, which is what they should be because they're, underhive, disgusting beasts that have been bred for murder.
Yeah, the bred for murder were the exact words I was going to say. And yeah, you are dead on here. Yeah, these are fun. They've got, you could even with the sort of mane on their middle back, which is a weird place to have all that hair. You could even tie that in with the hair on your Escher models or whatever. These look fucking cool. I'm really into them.
Yeah, and Fear Cats are also one of the better pets for Necromunda gangers because they can actually range pretty far from the person who's controlling them.
Yeah, because they're cats.
Yeah, and they're pretty quick, and they can jump into combat. Their whole thing is, you get into combat with somebody, and then you flank them with a Fear Cat to get those sweet, sweet bonus to hit rolls.
Yeah, they also take reduced damage from falling because they land on their feet because they're cats, and that's the kind of game Necromunda is.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, let's move on. Let's make a call. We make the call. Well, my microphone arm needs some oil.
Yeah, no shit. That sounds like a chair.
Yeah. Okay. This one's from Tyler Blevins, not Jerry Blevins, former. He still could be in the league, but pitcher for Major League Baseball. Used to be on the Nationals. Used to be on the Mets. He was a left-handed specialist, very skinny, but could throw the ball very hard. Anyways, that's Jerry Blevins. We're hearing from Tyler Blevins. Relations? I don't know. I don't know Tyler. I don't know Jerry. I don't know if they're related or how. Is Blevins even a common name?
I always thought Blevin was a made-up version of Kevin.
These are the questions that keep me up at night, Campbell. Anyways, Tyler says, I recently grabbed some Finecast models that were surprisingly decent, but my second-hand Forge World kit has been something I've been reluctant to fully commit to. Mediocre assembly and unfortunate collision with an actual butt. I need help, inspiration, or something that can help me or others of my ilk chasing that resin dragon. Seeing as you are both now undisputed experts due to those new kits you both recently obtained, what are some of your go-to or fail-proof resin working tips? Now, Campbell, I believe we've talked about resin before on the show, but I find it's always helpful to remind our dear, beautiful, and extremely sweet and nice and loving listeners.
Yeah, absolutely.
About some good resin tips, because resin is a pretty hard medium to work with.
I'd say it's harder than plastic to work with, but it can be a little fiddly and a little fragile, but honestly, there's not that much to really be afraid of. I actually just built some of the Fallout Brotherhood of Steel models from Modiphius that are resin models, and they're a little skinnier, a little finer to assemble than plastics, but they still super glued together just fine. I would say, first off, always wash your resin. Always leave it in water that is so soapy with dish soap that it changes color a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think some people just simple green, but simple green always makes resin feel kind of rubbery when it comes out to me. So I probably advise something that harsh, but just
soap and water. Water and scrub it with a toothbrush.
Yep. So I generally get one of those plastic takeout containers that you get with Chinese food or whatever, and I just, once the food is gone from it and I've cleaned it, I just throw the models in there or whatever parts in there, soap it up, warm water, cover it, and just leave it alone for a day, maybe a couple of days. And then, run it under warm water and scrub with a toothbrush. Just make sure you have something covering the drain so no parts go down the drain, because once you do that once, you'll remember it forever.
I'll tell you what I do. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to hear that you dropped a piece of resin down the drain. That sucks. But to not do that, I actually don't use a sink at all. I take a bowl of water, of warm water, and fill that up with some soap and make it nice and soapy. Then I have a separate bowl of cold water. So I will take the resin in the warm water and I'll straighten it if it needs straightening, and I will clean it with the toothbrush. Mm-hmm. Then I plop that sucker in the cold water, to wash off the crap on it, and then I pop it on a towel. Just to let dry and let those things air dry overnight generally. But yeah, that's the best way to work with resin. Always use super glue with resin. Plastic glue does not interact with resin. Plastic glue is generally better defined as plastic cement because it melts the two pieces of plastic together. Resin doesn't really work like that. I'm sure there are some cements or epoxies that can work with resin that will melt the parts together, but I just use Loctite, just super glue for that. And you just be patient with resin. And I think patience is key here. You do have to wash it. You do have to be careful when you're cutting it because it will splinter and crack in weird ways that plastic won't. And you just gotta take it slow, take it easy, and Don't be too stiff when you're working with it. Relax. Roll your shoulders a little bit. Shake your head out. Relax.
Try to forget that this is a $35 25 millimeter model or whatever you bought in resin. But actually, I've got a few more tips I'd like to toss out there.
Oh, fuck. Get after it, mama dude.
So when you're removing resin models from whatever gates, sprues, whatever they're on, be very careful if you're using a pair of like snippers, like the Citadel detail cutters or whatever, because those work by crushing the material, not actually cutting it until it gets like to a certain degree crushed. And because resin is so brittle, using those like flush cutters can actually cause some of that splintering, some of that cracking, and so on. So if you do use those, use them like a ways away from where the actual like detail parts are, and then cut off using a sharp X-Acto knife. Also, using said X-Acto knife, a good thing to do to kind of ensure the bond is stronger on the parts is to score any joins. So that means just taking the tip of your knife and just cutting like a bunch of like fine lines along anywhere you are going to have two pieces join. It just means you have a little more surface area for the super glue to bond to, and you want a rougher surface anyway for the super glue to bond to as well. Beyond that, pinning is always an option when you're doing bigger things, heavier parts, like, say, the wings on a big fucking resin airplane that your friends bought you. You are going to want to pin that. As for pinning, there's a lot of tutorials out there for how to do it, but you need a pin vise, you need paper clips or brass rod and some means of cutting that, and you just kind of fucking do it. You drill a hole, you put the peg in, you make sure it fits, and you're probably going to be okay. And especially for this stuff, it's very much a measure once or measure twice, cut once sort of thing. So dry fit, make sure things fit. If they don't, again, like you said, you can bend resin because it's a very malleable material. What I do is I have a water boiler I use for making tea or pour over coffee. I just warm that up, not to like boiling obviously, but it's like 175 or whatever. And I'll just pour a cup of that and dip a piece in that and then bend it a little bit until it is right. And then I'll run that under cold water.
I'll tell you, actually, it's better practice. You're not doing anything wrong, Campbell, but it's actually better practice if you want to straighten something with resin, heat it up with hot water, right? And you're holding it underwater straight, and then you take it to the cold water, and you dunk it in the cold water, like in a bowl of cold water with a couple of ice cubes floating in it, or whatever, and you hold it straight for like a 10 count, and it will set. Like, I don't run it under a tap or whatever because the pressure from the tap can cause it to deform again. Like I would say you just dunk it in a bowl of cold water, and it'll set, and then it's good to go. Like all of my Astreas, all of the guns were bent when they were sent to me, all of them. And so I had to straighten them all. And I just had I actually used boiling water because I was like, fuck it, I want to do this quick. I had a pot of water boiling on the stove, and I literally had some tongs, some wooden tongs, and I dropped the macro accelerator cannons barrels in there, stirred them around a minute until they got floppy. And then I pulled them out, grabbed them with my own damn hands, and dunked them in ice water, and just held them until they were straight. And the thing about that is, if they weren't straight, you can just do it again.
Yeah.
Because resin, when it heats up like that, it's floppy. Unless you're like bending it in half and shit, it probably won't break.
Yeah. Don't.
If you're like not like being like Lenny from Mice and Men, you're being kind of gentle, it'll be okay. But yeah, that's what I would do. I don't know. The whole like running it under a tap itself, that just tells me the pressure from the tap is just gonna cause it to bend again.
Yeah, I always try to angle it away so it would like run down or whatever. But yeah, the point is that's probably a better approach to it. But yeah, no, it's not anything to be that afraid of. It's just a little different.
Okay, let's move on to our first segment. This one's dumb.
Yeah.
So, get ready for that. This one, Campbell, it's November 18th right now. In 8 days, it will be Thanksgiving here in the United States of America. And Thanksgiving is going to be a weird one this time. I know that a lot of folks aren't having Thanksgiving because it is could be dangerous to do so.
Exceedingly dangerous to do so.
Elderly relatives. I know a lot of folks are saying fuck that and having Thanksgiving anyways. And to you folks, I say good luck.
Yep.
I hope everybody's taking things seriously. But one thing that we can count on, and actually I don't know if we can count on this.
One thing we could normally count on. One
thing that we could usually count on is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Now, I imagine that if there is a Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, it will at least it should have no people around it.
Right. I think Macy's also filed for bankruptcy too. So it's a weird one. It's
definitely a weird time. So we were thinking, what kind of parade would happen, maybe on Terra? Let's say on Terra, like the Terra, the 40k Thanksgiving parade. Campbell, it's happening on Terra, right there, the Imperial Palace. What's up with that? What does Imperial Thanksgiving look like?
Well, my first thought is, parades have a pretty bad track record in Warhammer novels.
They do, yes.
Like, for instance, the second Eisenhorn book. I think
that's a big deal, actually.
Yeah,
because that was bad news.
Yeah, it was very bad news for many named characters as well as many unnamed ones. I think there was a parade that went wrong in the Yarick book.
There's definitely like 4 parades that go bad in the Caiaphas Cain novels.
Yeah, like parades just don't go well. So with the caveat that this is invariably going to explode somehow, what would this look like? So I feel like, for starters, the big parade balloons, and again, if you are not from the United States or are unfamiliar with this very weird thing, look up Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and be like, why is there a giant balloon of Sonic the Hedgehog celebrating the pilgrims in America? I don't fucking know, but there is now. For this to be truly 40k, these giant balloons need to be big enough that they can be seen from space. So when the giant sort of Garfield equivalent, which I guess would be a Fear Cat or a Feelings, for the kids, starts cresting over the horizon, you can see it coming.
If you don't think Garfield doesn't exist in the 40k, the 41st millennium, or I guess the 42nd millennium, come on, dude. Garfield is eternal.
Well, that's the thing. There's also going to be invariably something's going to be cargo culted, because so much of the sort of 40k aesthetic and universe.
This segment should have been called "How Has Garfield Changed in 40,000 Years?"
Not at all. Every day.
Is John still drinking dog cum?
John is still drinking dog cum to this day, although now it's Primaris dog cum. It's just a big old thermos of Primaris dog cum. So.
Oh, wow. That was a joke in a Garfield it was a dog cum joke in a syndicated newspaper column. He drank dog cum out of a coffee mug, and he thought it was coffee. And the nurse, she set him straight. She put him wise.
Said that you're gonna have puppies.
That's not how that works, nurse. A human can't drink dog cum and get pregnant with puppies.
No, but
a human male definitely can't.
No, the closest thing that happens if you eat watermelon seeds, watermelons grow in your belly. So this is the same thing.
That's true. That's 100% true. I'm like getting upset now. Like, that's true, man. You can't eat watermelon seeds. They'll grow inside of you, and then you have a watermelon inside of you.
Yeah, I seen that episode of Rugrats. It's a documentary.
You don't.
Where's the comic where John gives birth to a litter of puppies? Really, that's what I'm getting at. I
want to see John shit out some puppies. I'm not talking about the hush puppies he had for lunch.
No, okay. I was expecting
this is gross. This is getting rid of
I thought he would just pass them
here.
like kidney stones. Okay.
Wait, the puppies come out of his...
Well, puppies are stored in the balls.
It's true. All right.
Please add us with your John drinking dog cum opinions.
Yeah.
So anyway, you feel like if there's got to be anything that gets cargo culted into the 41st millennium the way that so many things are, I feel like some iteration of Garfield is going to be.
Yeah, so like at the Thanksgiving Day parade, it's basically a bunch of like pop culture characters and floats that companies pay a lot of money for, and then like celebrities that sing 35 seconds of a song as their float stops in front of the stands.
Yeah, or like Broadway musicals go for like a minute and a half of a number and then just leave.
Yeah, like it is, gang. Man, it is like.
You think we're extremely American? This is extremely American. It's a 3-hour-long commercial with commercial breaks. And
it's
no, it's
awful.
not. It's not just the Super Bowl is that too, but this is that also.
But like, it's like this big tradition, and it's just the corniest shit.
Oh yeah, no, it's some like 1940s sort of shit that just happens to persist till now because that's how these things work.
It's so corny. Oh God, I hate it. All right, so. What popular culture characters still exist in the 41st millennium, Campbell?
Well, obviously they're still going to have the Goku balloon because he's the Primarch of the Second Legion. This is canon.
I'm sorry. Did you say they're still going to have the Goku balloon?
Yeah, there's a Goku balloon.
There
is a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, Macy's Goku, which is, man, that's a good thing to search for. Yeah. Watch out, Dan. You're getting an inbox full of Gokus.
Oh yeah, he's got blue hair.
Yeah, because he's Super Saiyan level 3. He's an extra Goku. He's a very Goku.
Yeah, it's real fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's real fucking Goku. So I think that's one, but that's because really to us he's a pop culture character. To them, he's a mythological demigod.
So we still got Goku. Is Sonic making the cut?
I feel like Sonic would probably be kind of too much of a mutant to make the cut.
Ooh.
Like, I feel like he'd probably be investigated by the Ordo Weebus as being heretical. I don't think Sonic would make the cut.
Okay.
I think Marmaduke might.
Does Marmaduke have a float?
I don't know.
I can't.
When I search that, I just get the collapsed Kermit the Frog.
Oh no. Poor Kermit. Yeah. So, okay, here's the thing. Here's what I know is that for some reason, Peanuts characters, Charlie Brown, Lucy, Snoopy,
who's a cyber mastiff now,
the bird,
Woodhouse, who's a cyber eagle now. They just put cyber before things. That's what it's like in the future.
What's the bird's name?
Woodhouse. No, Woodstock. Woodhouse is the butler from Archer.
Yeah.
He gets one too.
They're in there. I'm saying that the Peanuts characters are in there for the same reason that they're in there today is nobody knows that it's okay to not include them.
They're just still there. No one's thought to get rid of them.
Peanuts. I think Peanuts is still syndicated in a lot of newspapers, even though Charles Schultz has been dead for years and nobody's creating new Peanuts. They're just keep replaying the classics out there.
That's a very 40k thing.
It's what I'm saying. It's dark.
Yeah.
It's morbid.
Yeah.
So I think that the Peanuts characters are still there. What is it? The Feast of the Emperor's Ascension, I think, is what they call Christmas.
Yeah, that's
in 40k.
That's Christmas. Sanguinala is something else.
So, like, my question is there like a Peanuts movie, a Charlie Brown movie that somebody in the recent history of 40k made to adapt it to the Feast of the Emperor's Ascension?
I mean, I imagine it's just a little like guardsman Charlie Brown running up to Lucy holding a skull on the ground. She yanks it up right before he kicks it. And then he falls on his back and dies because it's 40k, and that's just what it's like.
I just had an idea for a t-shirt. It's guardsman Charlie Brown running to kick a skull, and it's Demonette Lucy yanking it out of the way.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's perfidious. It's about the threat of the traitor.
Right.
Okay.
Right, and that's like what the point they're making is. It's not like a funny thing about a guy who just can't get any breaks. It's that the demon. The demon trickster will stop you from stomping on the Xenos skull or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm watching a GIF of a Barney balloon collapsing as well. God, this is such a stupid thing that we do in this country for some reason.
I think that there's a high chance for mayhem at the 40k Thanksgiving Day parade.
Of course, there's going to be some like insanely ambitious Adeptus Mechanicus tech abomination balloon that has like mechadendrites everywhere that leaves no survivors in its wake.
Not a single survivor. Yeah, I think that it's actually going to be some sort of like chaos witch will like you think the giant Barney float is a float, but no, it's a huge dinosaur and it's devouring the Imperial fists.
The thing is, like, honestly,
Whoops.
if you want this to be kind of an art imitates life sort of thing, there would be no intervention by dark gods or aliens or anything. It's like, no, this is just a bad idea. And things just go wrong. Like, I feel like the weird thing is this signifies the transition from Thanksgiving season to Christmas season, which means
it's fully in
it's fully Christmas season. But that's why Santa Claus showing up at
Christmas
the
season
end.
starts November 1.
Yeah, it does.
Listen, I don't like it any more than you do, but it's November 1 hits, and you got Christmas jingles, you got fucking suspenders with snowmans on them. You've got fucking tinsel just everywhere.
It's just it's really Black Friday season until it's Christmas season.
Finding sparkly turds because your cats keep eating the tinsel.
Oh God! Don't keep tinsel in your house if you have animals. They will eat them, and it's very bad for them. So, but like, I feel like you got to have the religious aspect to this, and I feel like kind of.
Well, hold up.
Okay.
Thanksgiving is a secular holiday.
It is, but in the same way.
Unless you're in one of those lame families who everybody, like when you go around the table talking about what you're thankful for this year, and every single one of the family members says something about Jesus. I've been to those Thanksgivings, Campbell, and I was like, oh boy.
I fortunately have not in a very long time. But I've been there too.
It's like y'all know about like
he ain't here.
There's other things.
Like we didn't send him an invite.
What are you always thankful for? Like always. Don't say me, you corny motherfucker. I know you're thinking about it.
Well, the thing is, I was like, my first thought was going to be to appease you and say I'm thankful for you. My second thought would be to appease Numi, who's sitting right behind me, and say I'm thankful for her.
Cats,
and regretful for the years where I didn't have her in my life, including the ones before she was born. But I'd say probably those two. I always like to proclaim my thankfulness for alternating current. The miracle of alternating current that allows modern life to, really kick dicks, as they say. I'm thankful for the opportunity to kick dicks this year. I'm also a big fan of like if you are at a table and someone is making you say grace, just saying rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub. Like that one's always good. I guess that's not really saying something you're thankful for.
I've heard you say that before, like in a mealtime situation.
You definitely have, and it's
listeners,
a problem of
dear
mine.
Listeners, horn dogs, listen up. Campbell is just as corny in real life as he is on the show.
I'm not playing a character. I am this scatterbrained and this stupid in real life too.
All right, one of the things they always do at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is they cut down to the Rockefeller Plaza ice skating rink, right? And they usually have some sort of celebrities or singers or somebody who can ice skate down there. And, they give them a little bit of time to look good or sound good or do something cool. So what's the 40K equivalent of this? And I have an idea.
So I have two ideas. All
right, hit me.
My first is that it's just like, instead of a truncated Broadway number, it's just like 24 arcoflagellants going fucking wild on themselves while a priest yells at you.
I mean, that was my idea. It was 100% either live executions or gladiatorial combat
or challenge pissing.
Fuck you, Baltimore!
The thing is, like, there's that, but like, there's got to be some big, like, the Imperial heroes who show up, because there's always those like big damn heroes, those like large in life characters like Caiaphas Cain. But the thing is, the universe is so big and time is so fucked up that either that hero is dead or just not there because they're in a war zone. So it's obviously some guy dressed like Caiaphas Cain with big fake sideburns.
Yeah. Like a Times Square Elmo.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but like, except the difference is Times Square Elmo is not Elmo, it's like Alma, or like
off-brand Ibram Gaunt here.
Yeah, whose name is just like Barry Grant. And it's just like it would be like a dude in a muscle suit and like big fake sideburns standing on a parade float, just waving at the crowd from on top of a massive pile of alien corpses on wheels.
Hell yeah. And that's like 60 stories tall also.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be like
the people on the ground can't even see him.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, that's the one thing about the float that is real is the alien corpses. I feel like you're gonna have, like, just because of like the strength of the state, you're gonna have like a giant Aquila, like a big realistic two-headed eagle that kind of blocks out the sun. Because the balloons are usually like a little bit fucked up, especially the older ones. There's gonna be like a big off-model reboot Gilliman that's kind of based on what people think he is. Right. So like the sword's gonna be in the wrong hand. He's gonna have red hair instead of blonde hair. He's gonna be like wearing blue power armor, but he's a Crimson Fist instead of an Ultramarine. Like, it's gonna be,
his eyes aren't looking in the same direction.
No, and they're different sizes. Like, it's gonna be a little fucked up, but it's still gonna get the point across to people who don't know him, which is most of the trillions of people who live. I feel like you're gonna have like some big, like, I don't know how often there is like big support the troops shit at Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, but it being American, it's gonna have some support the troops shit. So I feel like the equivalent would be your big like in memoriam float that has the bones of all the fallen local guardsmen who died that year, but it takes like 3 hours to go by because it's more than a mile long.
Yeah,
because that's this universe. You'd probably have that floating Sisters of Battle pulpit, because that's basically already a small Thanksgiving float.
Yep.
And you'd probably just get like servo skulls fucking everywhere. You'd have like the news team servo skulls. You'd have just like a float that is a bunch of servo skulls forming a larger servo skull like Voltron, and they could maybe do tricks and like turn into words and so on. It would just turn to the word pray or turn to the word love, laugh, whatever.
Oh, and like it's like attendance at the 40k Thanksgiving Parade is mandatory.
Yeah, if you don't go there, you will be executed at the next Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yes, in front of the people that showed up to it.
That's actually what immediately precedes the in memoriam float. Is the execution, so they can be tacked onto the end of the in memoriam float.
Very efficient.
It really is.
All right. All right. That's enough of this segment. We've had fun. We've had fun here. I think this episode art is probably going to be this fucked up Kermit the Frog. I already know what the pull quote's going to be, but I'll surprise you with that. Cool. When I'm done. When I'm done editing. All right. Well, I was going to say, Campbell. You know what else is fun? No. Well, I can tell you what the most fun version of this is, and of course, what I'm very circuitously trying to say is that Crusade games are the most fun way to play 40k. I would say I have that on good authority, but I don't. You haven't played any Crusade games yet? No, I haven't. I've played 45 minutes of 9th edition. That's right, yeah. Well, then we got rained out. Thanks, 2020. Mm-hmm. I've played a few Crusade games, and Crusade games are great because they really take the give a shit out of 40k. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no one of the things in competitive 40k right now or match play is that like army comp matters quite a bit. Yeah. Like if you bring a bunch of psychers and you're not ready to keep all of them alive, you're like, oh, cool, I'll just play 15 points down all game, whatever. But in Crusade, man, bring whatever you want. It's cool. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about open play where you can literally bring whatever you want. I'm just saying you can play the army that you want to play in Crusade. So we're starting a new ongoing series here at the 40k Badcast we're calling Crusade Focus, where we're going to take a look into every codex that comes out and talk about the excellent and cool Crusade options for that army. Hell yeah. A lot of podcasts out there are doing competitive focus stuff. That shit's boring. Let's talk about the cool shit here on Crusade Focus at the 40k Badcast. All right, first up, gotta be the number one IP. That's right, Space Marines.
The army we both play.
So now, I don't know if you've taken a look at the Necron Codex yet. We're going to be doing Necrons next show.
No.
Campbell, have you managed to do that yet?
I have not gone to take a look at the Necron Codex just yet.
Well, I can tell you one thing. The Necron Codex Crusade section is way fucking better than the Marines.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's actually... see, that actually makes me excited because... although I haven't played Ninth, I do have the context. Like, I've read all the rules and everything. And, like, I did get to look through the Crusade rules, which we'll be going over kind of the different sections they're in. And I think they're actually really cool. So if the Necron ones are even better, fucking great.
Yes, the Necron ones are a lot more flavorful, a lot more fun. The Crusade, the Marine Crusade stuff is good. Don't get me wrong; like it's really cool. But I'm hoping that other codexes have a similar bent toward the Necron one, where it's a little more bonkers and fun.
Nice.
Than the Marine stuff. Because again, while the Marine stuff is cool, the Necrons have a shit ton of fun with their Crusade section.
Nice.
And so, but like I said, we'll be getting into that next episode. Episode 86. So, come on back.
Yeah,
Come on back.
Consider this the antipasti, and that's the main course.
Space Marine Crusades. All right, let's start out with unique agendas. So there are 4 unique agendas, and let's get into what agendas are real quick, because I don't know if everybody knows that. In matched play, you pick secondaries.
Right.
And secondaries, of course, are 1/2 of your points during the game. In Crusade games, you pick agendas which do not affect the game score at the end of the game.
Right.
In Crusade missions, you're only playing the primary mission.
Right. Well, these are kind of like choose your own adventure secondary objectives that you can do to accomplish, or you can accomplish to get experience points for the units that are accomplishing them, whether they're whole army ones, unit by unit ones, whatever.
Right.
And that's kind of how your forces grow and get better as games go on.
Generally, the agendas give you extra XP. And in my experience, like you want to choose like the broad categories of agendas to try to farm as much XP as possible.
Right.
So, 4 new unique agendas. There are 3. There are 2. They're pretty good. There's 2 that are really fun. So let's get through the pretty good ones real quick. There's Angels of Death, which is you have to table your opponent, and then anything left on the board on your side gets 3 experience points each.
That's not very interesting. But
if you can pull it off, it's good.
If you can pull it off, it's great. But it's not very interesting. I think this is where, when you talk about how Necrons get more interesting stuff, I kind of like some of the Space Marine ones are a little baseline, and this is one of those because it's like, okay, yeah, that's something you were going to do anyway, or try to do anyway.
Right. Next, we have No Fear, which I think this kind of gets more into the line of what makes Space Marines fun. And this one is each time a unit passes a morale test, it gets a No Fear tally. But if it fails a morale test, that tally is set to 0. They have to start over. And then at the end of the game, for each No Fear tally that you have, you gain 2 experience points.
That one's useful and is a bit like, it's fluffy, I guess. Like, it's Space Marines No Fear, so... yeah,
it's useful. Right. It's useful in that, like, when you lose one guy out of a 5-man squad, like they automatically pass that morale test.
Yeah,
but like they still take the test.
Right.
So you still get to put that little tally mark on the old Crusade card and get those points. So this is actually one of the ones that I find really useful, just to farm experience.
Yeah, I think it's useful. I think it's fluffy. I think it is just kind of saying it's not going to change how you play the game, like some of them might, but it's still a useful thing because you're going to get shot no matter what.
Speaking of changing how you play the game, Campbell, this next one is called Honor the Standard, and ooh boy, this one fucking rules. First, you have to take an Ancient to use this. Either Company Ancient, Chapter Ancient, or Primaris Ancient, or I guess Blade Guard Ancient would do it too.
Yeah.
And the way you do it is you have to get your Ancient to within 6 inches of the center of the table, and the Ancient has to perform an action to plant the standard.
Yeah.
And the Ancient can't do anything while the standard is planted.
Which is fine. They don't do that much anyway.
Well, true, yeah. But they can't move, they can't fight, they can't pile in, they can't do any of that stuff. They can't fall back. They are just there. And then for every turn that a friendly unit stays within 6 inches of the planted standard, they get 1 experience point.
Which I love because it encourages you to make the Space Marine battle pile.
Abso-fucking-lutely. The one thing is that the unit has to be wholly within, not just within. So it does cut down on the battle pile, but you could have like a sort of revolving kind of battle pile where your Space Marine units are moving in and out of within 6 inches of the Ancient and getting points here and there instead of just sitting on the Ancient and getting all points all game.
Yeah, it's a
so
dynamic
this is another
battle pile.
one. This is another one that if you do it right, or if you're playing a mission where the objective is in the center of the table, that you could get a shit ton of experience points for your army if you're doing it right. But it's kind of a high gate to get there.
Yeah, it is. But it does actually change how you are going to be playing the game, too.
Yes.
Because not every mission has an objective dead in the center. You might not want to be dead in the center if you're playing against, like, I don't know, orcs or some choppier army. I think it's cool. I think it's very cool, and it encourages you to move, which a lot of 9th edition is driving players to do.
Yes, that's one of the very good things about 9th edition is that you've got to get off your butt and get around the board instead of just sit back and shoot like a lot of 8th edition was. So that's a good one. I think that one's a very flavorful one. I think that's a lot of fun.
It's flavorful and good. The next two are very situational and very fun and characterful without necessarily being always great. But I like them a lot anyway. Yeah, there's 5 agendas, right?
I thought there's 4.
Recover Gene Seed and Quest of Atonement.
Oh, fuck. I missed the Quest of Atonement.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Quest of Atonement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since I remember this one and you didn't, it's fine. This is one that lets you take a unit that's got some battle scars, which are what happens if a unit gets destroyed and rolls badly. It can end up with battle scars. There are debuffs that affect in some way. This basically means that you get to erase them if you destroy enemy units of, I think, 5 power level or better. Which
in combat,
yeah, which I like because it rewards playing aggressively and is super fluffy because, like, how many times you've read about like a penance crusade or some shamed character like Cato Sicarius who, I don't think he ever gets over his PTSD. He just kind of goes into space and they lose him. But it's a thing that can happen. Like it's a thing that comes up a lot in
they
fluff.
quote unquote lose him.
Yeah.
They left him at baseball practice. Never came back to pick him up.
You said we're gonna get ice cream.
Oh, Kato.
It's kind of a cool one. It's one that's going to be very situational. Like, you're obviously not going to have this one to do unless you've had a unit that's gotten fucked up a bit. But I like that.
Not even that. You're really only going to use this if one of your combat units gets fucked up. Because if you've pulled a battle scar on your old Devastators,
yeah, they're probably not going to be leading the charge. But I like it.
All right,
it's cool.
All right, fuckos, get to the front. You know what you have to do. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And then finally, my favorite. It's called Recover Gene Seed. And this one, you have to take an apothecary for. And your opponent places a objective anywhere outside of their deployment zone. And you have to go get it with your apothecary. He has to go get within 3 inches of it and perform an action. And if he does, he gets 5 experience points. And you get a requisition point, a bonus requisition point for your army, which is big news because requisition is like how you level up your army.
This is another one of those things where it's something that's never really been well represented in game. And here it totally works.
There it is, like, man. That is like a lot of times in these books that we read, recovering Gene Seed is of utmost importance to a Space Marine chapter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because without that Gene Seed, they can't make new Space Marines. So you have to go get the dead body of your pal to get his organs, or at least just get his organs. That's weird. This is weird. That's fine. It's a 40k Badcast. We get weird all the time. You have to go get these progenoid glands out of I think it's the neck and chest where they reside in the Space Marine. So you can make new ones, new Space Marines, that is. And this is an agenda of you doing exactly that. And if you can pull this off, and apothecaries in 9th edition, Space Marine apothecaries are really fucking good too.
Yeah, they're pretty clutch to a lot of army builds. Now it is going to mean, again, getting them way the fuck out there to get to where this body is.
Right, yes.
Which again changes how you're going to be playing the game, but in a very cool way.
Right. It's going to be throwing that apothecary in the impulsor and saying, get after it, boys. Yeah, that's a really fun one. If you can fire that one off, it is awesome. Really good for your army. All right, let's go to these unique requisitions. These are a lot of fun. First one is awesome.
Yeah.
It's my favorite one by far. It's called Even in Death, I Still Serve. And this is if you have a character who has at least 2 battle scars, you can spend 1 requisition point to entomb them in a dreadnought.
Again, this is one that I think it's been talked about a bit just because it's such a standout. Like it's such like it's a big change for one of your units. And it's something that's, again, been in the fluff, been in the lore for literal decades. That's never really been shown on the table in any demonstrable way. And it's so fun and so cool. I love it.
And one of the cool things is your dreadnought gets to keep the experience points that the character had, but you get to generate new battle traits or battle honors for that dreadnought, because a lot of them aren't. For a vehicle, you can't have. If you've taken a bunch of character traits, you can't have those on vehicles.
Yeah.
So you have to generate new ones. But yeah, I think this one's really cool and really flavorful, I should say. And I look forward to the opportunity to do it in a crusade at some point.
Yeah, I look forward to one of my characters getting routinely owned so I can put him in a box.
Absolutely.
Now, the unfortunate thing is it's kind of downhill from here as far as requisitions go. The rest of them aren't. Some are okay, but
one of them is chapter command.
Yeah,
which is like in the chapter command section of the codex. This is where you upgrade your characters, your master apothecary, your chapter master,
master of the
your
forge,
master of sanctity, whatever. So you can't do that right off the bat in Crusade. You have to get a character to level 3, so 2 upgrades before you can spend a requisition point to make them a chapter commander. So I think that's cool that there is like an experience floor to get in. Like not anybody is allowed to be master sanctity, right? Like you have to prove yourself on the battlefield before you're granted the ability to take these upgrades. So I do like that a whole lot.
Yeah.
But this is just a utility one.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's not exciting because it's something you can do in matched play for 20 points.
Right, and I feel that we're going to see a lot of these types of requisitions, unique requisitions, coming down for just about every book.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a layup, especially if they do more upgrade character type things like they do in the Space Marine Codex, which, again, I think that is a cool thing.
Yes,
I like
very
it,
much.
but for this, it's kind of like, yeah, okay.
I will say I do like this one more than the last two. Which we'll fire off pretty quick here. The first one is Indomitus Crusade Veterans. This one's good, like from a power gaming standpoint. It's when you get a new elite unit in your order of battle, you can immediately upgrade them to level 2 and give them battle honor.
Yeah, which is it's cool. Like battle honors or battle traits, whatever, have like they get some unique rules that can make them more interesting. But again, it's like it's utilitarian.
Right. And then the last one is Rubicon Primaris. And this is where you can take a character, a non-Primaris character, I should say, and upgrade them to a Primaris character if you can make a 2+ dice roll.
Right. On a roll of 1, they just die, which
they are done.
It's cool. I like this one a lot. It's not as cool as Even in Death I Still Serve, but it's another thing from the fluff that happens that occasionally goes wrong, that isn't represented on the tabletop really, but can be here. I think this one's neat. Obviously, it's not going to make a difference to you since you play just big boys, or my ultras since they're just big boys. But if I were to play like my Black Templars in a Crusade, which, wow, that's fitting, and I have a captain or whatever, I can do that sort of thing. I think it's cool. I'm glad it's there, but I don't know how many people are like, I'm going to buy a small captain and a big captain and one will become the other one or whatever. I
mean, I like that it's got that fluff element of this could fail and your character could die. I think that's really cool, but I don't see a lot of people using this.
Yeah. It's,
or fuck it, people might. It's Crusade, man.
Yeah,
like this is
the place where it should be.
Right. Yeah. This is like I really hope people come to Crusade with the mindset of fuck it, send it.
Yeah,
like,
the Necromunda mindset.
People won't.
Yeah.
I like the people, especially not the people I play with locally. Like this Necromunda campaign I did was a lot of fun, but man, there were some really power gamey elements going on in it. But like I think that's a lot of game groups. We got an email a while ago from somebody who was telling about their Magic game group who they never do any power gamey stuff. They're always on the ball when it comes to like the RPG elements of it. And I was like, dude, you are playing with unicorns, and I hope you realize how lucky you are.
Treasure your friends. Play with no one else.
So we got unique battle traits. Also, these are there's 4 of them for machine spirit units,
which rules because it means you can have angry land raiders now.
Tech marine units, apothecary units, and then just general non-vehicle Adeptus Astartes units. Let's start with these machine spirit ones. We don't have to go through all these.
I don't want to go mad granular with any of these.
Let's just talk about our standouts here. So the machine spirit ones, love the bellicose machine spirit. It's simple. Improve this model's weapon skill characteristic by 3.
Yeah, which means your land raider is now a melee unit, buddy. That one's my favorite. It's definitely not the best, but I love it.
Yeah, like these are a lot of fun. Focus machine spirit, you can fire it's stuff without a penalty in combat. And then resilient machine spirit, there's a problem with this one, bud.
Add to the model's wounds characteristic. What does that mean for their damage table?
Well, I don't think it changes their damage table at all, but if you put this on a repulsor, you go from 16 wounds to the dreaded 18 wound threshold.
Oh, does that do something?
Yes, it means you can no longer benefit from the obscured trait on ruins,
okay.
so you cannot hide your repulsor anymore.
Okay. Didn't know it made my repulsor bigger.
Which is, as we say on the Badcast, that's no good.
No.
So yeah, that's kind of fun, but like you can definitely see that happening on a Land Raider or a Thunderhawk or something.
Yeah. No, I think the battle traits are weird because the 4 categories, machine spirits, tech marines, apothecaries, and other, is a weird way to break up the whole Space Marine army list.
Well, so the tech marine and apothecary ones I think are really they have 2 expert mechanic for tech marines and master of physiology for apothecaries, and they only get 2 traits here. It's a D6 1 to 3 and 4 to 6 for these if you're doing random traits, but they're I think really good in that they both do the same thing, and it's if this model is part of the army, it doesn't even have to be on the table. If it's just part of the army and it wasn't destroyed in the battle, you can ignore the first out of action test taken for the tech marine for either a vehicle or if it's for the apothecary for a not even infantry, just chapter unit that's not vehicle or beast.
Yeah.
Which is huge because these out of action tests, if you're not familiar with that, you roll a dice for every unit that was destroyed in the battle. If you roll a 1, they have gone out of action and they either need to give up experience or take a battle scar.
Right.
And so if you've got a healer, a support unit in your backfield, back at your base, who is there to prevent this from happening, that's really good.
Yeah, no, it's like having a rogue doc in Necromunda or whatever. Like they're just really useful things to have. It's a little lame. They're basically the same thing twice, but it's what they do. Right. There are other abilities which are like a 5-up invuln save for a tech marine or
whatever.
The apothecary gets to fight
extra attacks if something dies near it.
Which, with your apothecary, who is bad in hand-to-hand, well, not bad, like he's still a space marine, but not really good. Like
no,
the other abilities are just really kind of lame compared to these 2.
Though I mean, really, these 2 are super good. Though.
Oh yeah, you're never gonna need to do anything else.
Yeah. All right, and then we finally have the regular units stuff. There's a lot of these. There's 2 which I think are problematic. Marksman's honors and bladesman's honors. They're both improve ballistic skill or weapon skill by 1. I think this is the reason why if I'm running a crusade, I will force people to always roll for battle honors, unless they have like a very good narrative reason to take them.
Right.
And it's stuff like these in the core book. Like there's no battle honors that are like extremely game breaking. Right.
Yeah.
But as soon as you put marksman's honors, which is ballistic skill plus 1, on a unit of eradicators or hellblasters or something that's very good at shooting, it's just like, all right, well, fuck, man.
Yeah,
you're gonna put that on everything, right?
Yeah,
because that's just what you're gonna do. Like, so yeah, I think that like I get it. It's cool why they're there, and they've made it like a fun Space Marine way to tie it in. But it is the reason why I would force people to make rolls for battle
absolutely
battle traits in my crusades.
I do like these upgrades. There's 6 of these in the rare table. You just roll a d6 table. I like that you can represent a lot of the honors that get given in the lore and that are modeled on things like that Marksman's honors, but as well as some of the old upgrades from like 4th edition, like Purity Seals and Terminator honors. Like, I really like that these are, again, like you said, they tie in really nicely with the lore. They tie in really nicely with even things that have come before. And I like them a lot, but I do see the opportunity to get kind of shitty if you're a certain kind of player.
Right. So one thing, though, I do want to point out, Terminator honors absolutely kicks ass.
Yeah.
For the sergeant, you add 1 to the attacks, the leadership, and if it's not a character, you get an extra wound too. So it's the old Terminator honors upgrade for your character. So like your what do you call it? Your intercessor sergeant could now have Terminator honors, and now he's 3 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucking rad.
That's pretty cool.
So these are fun. There's, like I said, there's bad things about them with the weapon skill and ballistic skill upgrades, but there's fun stuff too. So all in all, I'm a fan. Now let's get into, I think, what really sets apart this Crusade section. It's the honorifics, and I know you remember those old Space Marine chapter master models that came out in 4th edition?
4th edition for Apocalypse, yeah.
Yep. These were like each... So, okay, Space Marines, right? They got 10 companies per chapter, and each company captain has a specific role within the chapter. Now, it changes a bit from chapter to chapter, but if you are a Codex compliant chapter, it's generally the same. And so you've got 10 different captains, rather, and they each have their own job. And these honorifics can be given in a crusade to your captain to give them fun little bonuses in battle or outside of battle.
Yeah, and they're all like, none of them, I mean, maybe some are kind of game break, maybe some of them are really good, but I think this is a case where, like, it's, Master of the Keep, Master of the Watch, Master of the Arsenal, etc. They all do correspond to a specific company.
Right.
And I play 2nd Company Ultramarines.
Yep.
So I will be going for Master of the Watch with Vulpes Volci or Maximo Volante or whatever 2nd Company captain I want to use. Thank you. And let it play out.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, the Master of the Watch honorific might not be exactly what I would go for every time, which is, it gives you extra command points if you're defending, which is, it's fine. That's their company, so that's what I'm going to take. And I know some people don't like your paint jobs correspond to the rules, but I do, because there's a bit of that like historical wargaming sort of shit in me, like holding on to my heart. So I'm going to go with the 2nd Company rules every time, unless I use my 1st Company captain, in which case he'll be Master of the Keep or whatever. But I don't know. I think it's neat. I
actually agree with you wholeheartedly here. All of my Raven Guard are painted with red trim, and red trim, of course, represents the 3rd Company. So if I'm ever going to be taking honorifics in a crusade, I will be taking the Master of the Arsenal, which is the 3rd Company captain. And so he gets an ability once per battle. I can use an Adeptus Astartes War Gear stratagem for 0 command points. Yeah, so this is like smoke grenades, or that's the only one I can remember off the top of my head.
Well, you know what? That's a very Raven Guard thing to do anyway.
Right. So, because like I said, like all of my guys have red trim. They're 3rd Company. So that's what it's going to be. Now, there are a couple of these that are real fucking good. I believe that. One of them is the 9th Company, Master of Relics. Let me read this out for you, Campbell, and you can tell me what you think about it. If this unit is part of your Crusade force, then the Relic Requisition costs 0 requisition points if the model gaining the relic is from the same chapter as this unit.
So free relics every game.
Well, not only every game, but every time you get a new character or a character levels up, you can just slap a relic on it for 0 requisition points.
Oh, you're right.
Which is, I think we could use the phrase hella broken.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's
broken.
It's that's a little too good, honestly. Now, for me, I would never take this because I haven't made a 9th Company Space Marine force, which I guess would be all Hellblasters.
Yeah, that's the reserve heavy support company.
Yes. So I guess it'd be like all Hellblasters and Eradicators and
Oops, all
Eliminators.
Eradicators.
Well, hold up now. What even is the ninth company color?
Actually, I don't know this.
Let's fucking find out, huh?
Ninth company color is like cobalt blue. It's like a slightly aqua bright blue.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's bright blue.
Yeah, that'll look great on some schemes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure some schemes.
Ultramarines with that look fantastic.
Yeah, they're extra blue. So that's the kind of thing that, like, so we've been talking about this for, if we ever get to do the Nova Crusade thing, which I'm, fingers crossed that we get to do it someday, me, Scott, and Chris. We have decided that we're going to go, I think we're actually going to go power level, like have everybody make power level armies, but it's going to be hard WYSIWYG.
I'm into that.
So like you can min max your squads or whatever, but you got to have the models. You better have put in the work to do so. And like I'm not going to enforce painting stuff because I think that's one step too far when it comes to that. But like if I don't see blue trim on Space Marine armies and people got Master Relics, I'm definitely going to narrow those eyes a little bit, give them a little side eye, because this is the kind of thing, though, I think that where like this narrative sort of mindset where it matters. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's also when I can be like, actually, that's the incorrect shade of Macragge blue for M42 on the Eastern Fringe.
Yeah, I believe first is white, second is usually gold.
Gold or yellow, yeah.
No, because sixth is yellow. So I think second is supposed to be gold. Red is for third, green is for fourth, black is for fifth, sixth is yellow, seventh is purple, eighth is gray, ninth is blue, and 10th is scouts.
No, sixth is orange.
Oh, sixth is orange?
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, yeah. Then that would make sense for yellow and orange, not gold and yellow.
Not yellow and more yellow.
Yeah, right. So that's, I think honorific is really cool.
Yeah, I like the idea of it a lot. It's something I really hope they can kind of bring into each codex, because there's so much, again, this is one of those things where it's like there's character here, there's flavor here, but there's never been like, 10 different war scrolls for captains, because why the fuck not? Sure, Codex Space Marines 9th edition 2, now with 10 more captains.
Fuck yeah.
But like the thing is, like, this is the sort of thing, it's like it's in the lore, it's in the titles, it's in the fluff, and it's never really been represented in game, and that's where all this stuff can live without overburdening the main game, which I love.
Well, I think it would just be fantastic to have like Shadow Captain Lanius, Master of the Watch, and like I've got Phobos units and they're popping extra smoke grenades and stuff and doing cool shit like that. Just seems to me like that's cool as hell.
Yeah, that's what you're here for.
All right, let's touch on these chapter relics real quick. There's none of these like jump out at me as like these are the best things ever. You have to take them immediately. And these, of course, are the Crusade Relic Requisition. But there are a couple of really good ones. Paragon Blade is a power sword that's +2 strength, AP -4, and damage 3. Nasty. So it's a power sword thunderhammer. Pretty fucking good.
Thunder sword, yeah.
There's one got a really good name, the Standard of Righteous Hatred.
Yeah.
Then, of course, the Vortex Bolts, which are just mortal wounds instead of regular damage. So there's fun stuff in here, but I don't think any of this stuff is game breaking.
No, I like it though, because there's 3 levels of it: Artificer, Antiquity, and Legendary Relics. And like that Paragon Blade, that's a 30k throwback.
Yep.
You get other old school throwbacks like the Adamantine Cuirass, whatever, which was the Adamantine Mantle in 4th edition.
Yeah.
The Relic of the Primarch that you can reveal once per game. That was another like old school 3rd, 4th edition sort of upgrade. But
and then it gives you an extra agenda too if the bearer goes down.
Yeah, I like that one a lot, actually, because if the bearer dies, they become an objective that you have to recover, and I always like things that change the flow of the battle like that. Yeah. Like the old Space Wolves Codex, where if Bjorn the Fell-Handed died, he became an objective because you want to recover this chapter hero. Right. I've always loved things like that because, again, it reflects the lore really well, and it changes the flow of the game in a way that's not necessarily predictable. I really dig it.
Well, Campbell, I hope that someday soon both of us get involved in some sort of 40k crusade. when it's safe to do so. Because this is just the coolest fucking shit out there.
Yeah, I think the final thoughts are that this is the coolest fucking shit out there. And while I won't say this is the only way to play 40k, this is the way to play 40k I'm most interested in. I like that you've got a place for a lot of these super granular, super fluffy bonus rules to live that doesn't bog down like every single game, you know?
Right.
And where it doesn't have to be quite as balanced as match play stuff because it's power level, it's narrative. Like
right.
People are going to min-max. That's what people do, but not everyone will. And you're not necessarily going to in every game. Like I'm not going to min-max. That's not my thing.
No,
I'm going to use the models as they're modeled. I think it's a great place for all this extraneous stuff to really work. And I'm very excited for it. Like this is, I know you said the Necron one is even better. So this is really inspiring to me.
All right. That's Crusade Focus, gang. We'll be back next episode with a look at Codex Necrons and their Crusade content. But now let's take it to the streets, Campbell. Mm-hmm. Fact or fan fiction, the segment that got us here.
Well, I'm going to change it up a little bit this time.
Oh, shit.
First off, I'm going to ask you to put a pause in your Tarantella button for this one because we got a game. I'm going to rattle off some names. And I got to ask you, which of these are actual characters in my Ultramarines army and which are entries on the menu for Polcari's, Route 1's favorite Italian restaurant? This place is identifiable by the Leaning Tower of Pisa in front of it.
Okay.
To throw you off, I'm going to give you these dishes as ranks, so you better remember my Italian as hell Ultramarines, because for each you get wrong, I will read what the menu item is.
All right. So if I think it's a Badcast favorite Campbell character, I'm going to hit it with a "Let me in, I'm trying to fuck."
Okay.
All right? And if I think it's an entry on an Italian restaurant's menu, I'm going to hit it with a
Okay.
All right, sound good?
This is going to take a while, but yes.
All right, hit me.
Okay. Captain Siciliani.
Captain Siciliani? That's a restaurant.
Correct. That is the Calamari Siciliani.
God damn it.
I'm not going to read the menu item except for when you get it wrong, with the exception of one or two.
Okay.
All right. Lieutenant Capelli.
Lieutenant Capelli?
Yeah.
Go in Italian restaurant.
You got it right. That is
Yes.
Capelli Caprese.
Delicious.
Captain Maximo Volante.
Let me in, I'm trying to fuck.
Yeah,
You know it, baby. You know it, baby.
I dropped that one earlier, so you knew it. Sergeant Schiaffatoni.
Italian's the best language. I'm sorry. Sergeant Schiaff. I don't know if you name your sergeants or not. Can I ask you if you name your sergeants?
I have named sergeants before, yes. You are correct.
Yes.
This is the one I've got to read to you. This is verbatim from their menu.
Okay.
Ski uff fet Tony. It has a pronunciation guide right there.
Uh-huh.
I remember when Pa used to give me these. Jumbo rigatoni tossed in a rich sauce with sweet caramelized onions, toasted walnuts, fresh spinach, and garlic cream sauce. Bellissimo.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. Anne got it last time. It was wonderful.
I mean, I gotta do a quick lactate before I eat that, but I'm fucking ready for that.
Yeah.
It always happens, man. Before dinner, talking about food.
We
Always
talk about food. It's what we always do.
All right, next.
We're
let's
like
go.
Weird Al that way. Lieutenant Volpe Primo.
Oh, I know this one.
Let me in, I'm trying to fuck.
You
Yeah.
named that after a sausage. I think I sent you in a gift basket.
Yes, I did.
What the fuck is this podcast?
It's performance art.
It's something.
By me, for you, from you to me. Captain Aglio Vongole.
Oh, this guy, yeah.
Let me in, I'm trying to fuck.
Yeah, garlic clams.
Yep.
That was the thing. Here, the thing
He's
is, he is both. He actually is both.
But you, because we made us think about his name last episode.
Codiccio Cavatappi.
Oh, I know that cavatappi is a type of pasta, but
in, I'm trying to fuck.
Incorrect. Sweet sausage cavatappi. Sweet sausage removed from the casing and hot sausage links sauteed with caramelized onions in a light cream marinara sauce and tossed with cavatappi pasta.
Fuck. That sounds so good.
I know. So many of these do.
Damn it. Okay. All right. Come on. Hit me.
Chaplin tagliatelle.
Tagliatelle. It's more pasta. No.
That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. Lieutenant Diasco Valari.
Diasco Valari?
Yeah.
Let me in, I'm trying to fuck.
That's cartoon named after the song Valare.
Okay, that was a guess. I just want to put that out there. I was like, that sounds too Campbell-y.
Yeah. How's this one? Sergeant Saltimboca.
Sergeant Saltimboca.
Let me in, I'm trying to fuck.
Incorrect.
No!
Chicken saltimboca. This is Pa's version of a classic dish. Tender chicken breast in a sherry mushroom sauce topped with fresh spinach, prosciutto, and mozzarella cheese. Served with a side of linguine. Substitute veal for an additional charge.
Sounds fucking delicious.
I know.
Why are you doing this?
If I was staying in this area, I would happily treat you to this restaurant next time you're around.
This is so fucking awful. It's like you could do a segment of just reading me menu items. I would, to every one of them, I'd be like, that sounds delicious. I'm so hungry.
Every time someone's like, he could read a phone book and I'd listen. I think I found my niche is just reading Italian menus to you.
Man, I hope the listeners are liking this.
I hope they are too. And if they're vegan, I'm sorry.
Fuck. All right, come on.
Venerable Brother Diavolo.
Oh, Diavolo. That's a type of sauce.
Yeah, that is seafood fra Diavolo. You are correct.
Yeah, I'm on that one.
As we all know, my venerable dreadnought is named Thickums. Chapter champion Brigatti and Gladio.
Brigatti and Gladio. Isn't Gladio something with a sword? So I'm going.
Let me in, I'm trying to fuck.
That is true. Yeah, it is a Gladius. Yes.
Yeah.
That is the name. Last but certainly not least, ancient Mississippi.
I mean, I can't push the Tarantella for ancient Mississippi. So I'm gonna give the other musical one. All right.
Okay.
It's the Italian restaurant.
It's an Italian restaurant, but it has Mississippi mud pie, layers of rich chocolate and coffee ice cream pie served with Hershey's chocolate syrup. Because every fucking restaurant has something like this. Either has chocolate lava cake or brownie sundae, and this is their brownie sundae.
But if you go to an Italian restaurant, you have two choices for dessert. Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Tiramisu and cannoli. And that's it. There's no... Okay. I like chocolate. I love chocolate. But if I'm going to fucking... What's this restaurant called?
Polcari's on Route 1 in Saugus.
If I'm going to Polcari's on Route 1 in Saugus, I'm getting fucking tiramisu. And if they're out, I'll get cannoli. And if they're out of that...
I'm leaving.
I'm getting something on the way home.
Yeah.
That was a ton of fun.
Yeah,
I love the Fact or Fan Fiction that are quizzes.
No,
I know that they're probably a lot of work for you to do, but I absolutely love them.
I think they're a little. They're honestly. I don't think they're really more work. Honestly, because I don't have to find that perfect mix of bad and funny. Because most bad fan fiction is just boring.
It's bad, yeah. It's boring.
Yeah, it's just kind of like,
Some of the ones we do on the show are boring.
I'm aware. I try not to do those when I can. Why do you think I outsource so much?
Yeah.
But this was a ton of fun for me. And again, I'm very hungry right now.
I am fucking starving. This sucks.
Well, let's get the fuck out of here then.
All right, let's do some plugs. We mentioned Goonhammer at the top of the show. We both write for Goonhammer. Campbell was nice enough to step in and write the most recent Necromonday for me because I was very busy with Blood Bowl stuff. But we've both put out recent articles on Goonhammer. Goonhammer.com. Go there, read stuff. It's great. We also have a Patreon that you can support the show with. We have 3 levels of support. It's over patreon.com/40k Badcast. We put out new stuff each month for our Patreon subscribers. It's a lot of fun. We don't talk about Warhammer on the Patreon subscriber. We talk about other stuff. We're going to be releasing a new episode of that this month about it's kind of a wish list of what games we'd like to see made.
Right.
Very, very exciting stuff in there.
And some upcoming ones might be a little weird because as I am going to be moving across the country, we might be recording some a little earlier than we usually do. So they might be something from November you're listening to in December or whatever, but it's going to be the same sort of Patreon content that you know and hopefully love.
We also have a t-shirt and apron store. Campbell, if you would furnish us with the URL.
That is shop.spreadshirt.com/40k Badcast, where you can get, well, t-shirts and aprons and hopefully stickers soon. They have that option available. I just haven't uploaded any, but keep your eye on that and you should be able to buy those and vandalize things wherever you want.
Can I ask you to do me a favor?
Sure.
How about by the time this is released, this podcast, which will be, you will have probably 4 to 5 days between now and when it's released. Maybe there's stickers up on the shop.
I'll see what I can do.
Fantastic.
What kind? You will find out soon, hopefully. And I will find out soon, hopefully.
All right, we are on social media. Twitter is where you can find both of us at the same time. I am at DB_sleazy. He is at brother SRM. Campbell, you're on Tumblr, cam2d.tumblr.com. We also have a Facebook, facebook.com/40k Badcast. I am not on that because I don't do Facebook, but Campbell, you are.
Yes, I am on that hell site that should be yeeted into the sun, unfortunately, mostly just to run the Facebook page for the show.
Hey, we also have a website.
We do, 40kbadcast.com.
But if you're listening to the show, there's not a whole lot else going on there.
No, but it is the domain that you can contact us at for email, which is contact@40kbadcast.com. So send us any questions you want us answered for We Make to Call, pictures of animals, pictures of models, pictures of your beautiful smiling faces. Just send us whatever. Hate mail, that's always welcome.
Whatever, man. It's all fuel for the show.
Yeah, exactly.
We sacrifice 10,000 haters a day to fuel the golden throne of the 40k Badcast.
This one goes out to the haters and the losers.
All right, at the end of the show, we always exit on a quote. And Campbell, you furnish us with the quote, and then I try to tie it into some sort of joke so we can leave the listener wanting more. Sometimes it's easy, and sometimes it's impossible.
And sometimes it's just plain sad. So here we go. The truly heroic trust in blind faith.
Well, Campbell, we all know that the truly heroic subscribe to the 40k Badcast on patreon.com and or own and wear our shirts in public. But, you know, we can take that too.
Yeah, that'll be.
All right, gang. We're the 40k Badcast. We're bad at 4K. We're bad at podcast. We're bad at just a whole number of things, and you can too. And we will see you in the next cartoon.